Sports. Hey, it's all good, brother. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports. I know today's a little bit different. We're doing on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday, but we were participating in Blackout Tuesday. And I definitely want to shout out to everybody that showed us some love. I want to shout out all the first responders out there, the essential workers out there, all the protesters, everyone doing their part, everybody doing little things on social media. Big thank you to you guys. We got Bert, we got Corey, we got Ty, we got Mike. How are you guys doing? Good evening. Ed,
great.
What's going on?
Excited.
Awesome. Me too. So today we're going to talk about the NBA now has a definite return date, July 31st. We'll talk about the MLB rejecting a 114 game plan. There's no counter offer. So is it possible that there will be no baseball? And of course, we will talk about the sports version or the sports side of all of the protests surrounding the murder of George Floyd. But first, we will be doing the warm-up. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Guys, I don't know if you've seen this over the weekend. A lot of athletes were out and about. We had Dennis Smith Jr. and J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith beat up somebody trying to steal his car. My question is, did you guys think that J.R. Smith knew that was his car? Bert.
Yeah, no, I 100% think so. Yeah, of course he knew it was his car. Do you really think he would chase somebody down and beat the shit out of him as much as he did if it wasn't his car?
That was a joke.
Yeah. He didn't know how much time was left in the NBA Finals. Figured he might not know if it was his car.
It probably wasn't his car.
He just wanted to beat somebody else?
No. But go ahead. It's not my turn.
The report said that it was parked in a residential area far away from the protest. So it wouldn't surprise me if that individual knew that was his truck, more so that he knew that was his truck. But I don't blame him. I mean, come on, I'd beat the shit out of him too.
Oh my God.
Nice, Ty. Ty.
Yeah, no, I would believe that he knew it was obviously his car, but man, he's clearly usually out of his mind a little bit, like high or so, right? So wouldn't be surprised if he did not know it was his car, but clearly he did. But he's stupid. Why are you like fighting people over your car, man? Like you make so much money, like let it go.
Yeah, buy a new car.
Know, that's still it's still your car, still your property. I mean, if you see somebody messing with my car, I'm gonna chase them down. I don't think it matters how much money I have. It's if you like your ride, you like your ride.
Well, this became an issue with a lot of the businesses that unfortunately, because of the protest, may have had issues, right? Think about it. Somebody sees, imagine 24 Media, like as a storefront, like, and you see somebody destroying it. Like that's what you work for, So my question to you guys is like one, and to Jamal and Ty, one, what if J.R. Smith was white? How should he have handled that? And I'll tell you how I would have handled it. Number one, I would have just let him destroy my car. Or if I'm Tom Brady or even J.R. Smith, I would say, yo, man, you could just have the car. And
Tom Brady's definitely giving up that car.
Right. No, like just because like, dude, this is right. What you're doing, I believe in this because the fact is if a cop has this opportunity or situation ever arise again, maybe he'll think twice now. Like it's kind of like my mentor, my boss always tells me that when one of your employees does something wrong, you rub their nose in it like you would to a dog and tell them that this is wrong, right? So right now we are letting police officers know this is wrong. And if you do it again, we're going to do this again. So perhaps like you can't fix a racist thought, but maybe you could fix the fact that they'll be like, oh, I better not do that because the world will burn.
Thanks for giving us into the depressing stuff early, Mike.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying, I'm confused. You're saying that you would just let the kid destroy it? Wasn't it?
Like, no, I'd give him my car. If I'm Tom Brady or J.R. Smith.
Wasn't this just like a...
This is the equivalent of the bike you just gave me.
No, but what I'm saying is the kid
money-wise.
that was destroying his truck, wasn't this just like a white kid with a skateboard? Just like
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't,
this was during a protest.
it was like a white kid that just it's like how all the destruction has
Right.
been starting, where these
right.
Chads
Yeah.
and Brads go around and think it's cool to start smashing shit.
Okay,
and ruining
that's
people's
even
protest.
better. That's even better. So either way, he should have gotten his ass whipped.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. So either way, but the question still is the same. You know,
You make that kind of money. I gotcha. I know what you mean.
J.R. Smith should not be beating up civilians in the street over a car. That's just
That's
plain
my
and simple.
point. Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like, you should have a bodyguard or something. I get protect your
Yeah.
car, but I'm not going out there beating up somebody for getting like. You know.
And
bodyguard.
actually, you know what? J.R. Smith doesn't have a
woman.
job. He doesn't have a job, so maybe he needs that car. I don't know. But now that Mike has taken us down the dark path, I just want to say it feels really good to jump on this platform and talk to my brothers today. For everybody listening and watching, we are going to do some fun sports stuff. For a bulk of the show is going to be pretty heavy. We will tie in sports into it, but today's going to be a little bit different show. So off of the J.R. Smith thing, UFC legend, icon, best fighter to ever walk into the octagon, John Jones, is out there trying to keep the peace. He's been walking around these protests, and he has been taking spray cans from vandalizers. Bert, you're not letting John Jones just punk you out of a spray can, right? You're gonna give him the business, right?
Oh. I want to say no.
Is he on coke at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't.
Because he's definitely not.
Nah.
I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I like my face the way it is, but I mean, look, here's where it gets messy, right? So you want to give people a voice and get out there and demonstrate. That's fine. I think if where you separate the lines of, you know, are what they doing, are the vandalists, or what they doing, is it good? Is it bad? Is it constructive? Is it not? But yet again, who is he to police all that, right? Leave that to everybody else. I got to be honest with you. I'm probably not giving it to him and just jetting away. Much like you wouldn't let anybody else do it to you too. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you, but I don't want my face punched in. So I got to be honest with you. I was standing there in front of him and he's telling me, give me that can. I'd probably like, yes, sir. Here you go. And just hand it on over.
100%. Corey?
Hell yeah, I'm giving him that can. You saw him punk out that white kid. He was like, Dad coming over. Give me the can. Give me the can. Give me the can. He kept saying it. Finally, I didn't do anything. And he relinquished that thing quick, man. Absolutely. Come on. He can police any street he wants.
Hell yeah. He did. The one kid did try to, he gave him like, he really was trying to hold off on it, but you can't fight the inevitable, man. It's like father time. Like, what are you going to do? Todd, did you see it? Did you see this?
No, and I love that we have these topics now. Like, for me, because I'm always out of the loop. I had no idea about this, and this is great. And it was a white kid.
He's been doing it. Yeah, I mean, he
That's
did it.
great.
He did it 2 or 3 days in a row. He's been out there taking spray cans from people.
But this is the thing. Like, I love that because we didn't, you know, and I don't want to get too into it, but like, I'm not out there protesting. I will protest on Friday in my local town, but it's going to be small. But I'm not a protester. I'm not a rioter, really. But I believe we need these frontline soldiers. You know, we need somebody to do it. And John Jones in his position, being a badass and you're literally a trained fighter, man. Yeah, go out there and do something. Like, I don't get shot or anything, right? And be smart about it. But he's out there. He's big enough and influential enough to just say, yo, put that can down. Like, you get going, like, and people will listen. One, because he's John Jones, but you know, he whoop your ass, man. And so I wouldn't be out there, you know, I wouldn't be out there spray painting anyway. So I'm not going to answer that question, but I just want to applaud John Jones, man, for being a vigilante.
Nice, Mike.
He can do whatever he wants. To me, I just pause. But in all seriousness, too, like, it's like, if that guy tells me to go one way, I'm going that way. Like, it's just, you know, I'm not trying to mess with that. But from the standpoint I stand from, and I said this earlier, if this makes somebody think twice about doing something terrible, then all this is worth it. Like, I honestly mean that. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Listen, I mean, his name is John Bones Jones. I mean, that's all you really need to know about him, right? Like, his nickname is Bones. You give up the spray can. And honestly, part of me had to think, these guys, like, UFC's not that big of a sport, right? So maybe there's that chance that these guys just simply didn't know who he was. But if you've seen him, you know who he looks, what he looks like. By his simple physical nature, that dictates that you hand over the spray cans, right? Like, quickly too. So yeah, those kids, man, they.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead,
I'm
Mike.
so much happier knowing that J.R. Smith beat up some white dude. Like, is that wrong of me?
Oh, there's poetic justice. No, there's poetic justice in that. It's hilarious, but it's J.R. Smith. So
and no other media outlet. Like, I'm glad you guys read about it.
But if you thanks to the power of citizens reporting now, and everybody recording everything, is if you read, and even up in Trenton, up the street from us,
the fan, everybody.
Trenton had a peaceful protest on Sunday, and it turned bad, it turned violent, and it was all started from an out-of-town white person.
Yeah,
it's unreal. Anyway,
speaking of which, I wanted to do something locally, because even though I'm here in North Carolina, I still listen to Philly sports talk, thanks to iHeartRadio. It's a wonderful app. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
I wish I had the who cares button.
Yeah. Mike Missinelli is returning to work on Monday after his little outburst last week when he freaked out on the girl, because Mike Missinelli feels like it's cool to defend racism and whatever else he was doing. What is the general feeling in Philly about that? Because I think Mike Missinelli should have been fired. I'm talking years ago, because he's clearly a racist, right?
Oh, and this isn't the first time he's lost his shit on certain subjects. He's challenged other employees to fights in parking lots before. He walks around that building like that city, like he owns the fucking place. And who are you? You know what I mean? Like, you're a studio away from being nobody. So I mean, look, I'm not a big Philly guy, but there's no love lost, at least for me.
Rob,
Todd, Mike, Bert.
Sorry, I went out of order. I apologize.
Look, I'm with Corey on this one. Like, look, honestly, I just wish he would get his ass kicked, to be quite honest with you. But it is what it is. Like, like Corey said, he's done this shit before. I don't understand why he feels it's okay to come out and make these comments as much of a shock because he may want to be in the sports world. But when it comes down to it, dude, just shut the fuck up. Like, no one wants to hear your take on anything. You know, you've had terrible behavior before, challenging not only other employees in fights, but fans in fights from Twitter and everything else. He should have been fired a long time ago, and I don't know why they're deciding.
What did he say? What did he say?
Let him go work at Barstool if he's going to act like
that. That seems like the right place for him, right? We can get into that Dave Portnoy stuff. You guys are the ones that put me onto this guy.
Wouldn't respect Blackout Tuesday. Only guy, and he had to make it about himself. His video got 1 million views because obviously when you scrolled from LL Cool J to Jon Snow, you saw people participating in this, and he decided to be the only guy that mentioned anything on Facebook. So Dave, my question to you, and I'd love to have you on the show, is how many black employees do you have? How many black podcasts do you have? Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's one day. Shut up. Are you upset because you had something planned? You had a post that would have paid you a couple $1,000 or what? Like, I don't understand. Or you're that vain that you were worried. And then, today he said, oh, today's influencer day on Instagram. Like, everybody was sponsoring. And people still clowned him. And was like, oh, you mean like the same massage gun that was there yesterday? Like, knock it off, man. It was one day. Somebody, it was like if with Trump with Twitter, somebody took away his toy for the day and he was upset. But that's it. That's all I feel.
It's funny because I felt like I wanted to defend. I didn't even know. I guess I'm going to talk her on, but Dave Portnoy. Like, I felt like I wanted to defend him a little bit because, I don't know. I don't want to shame people into taking stances. Like, if you don't want to participate, you don't have to participate. Like, right. But it wasn't even the fact that he didn't just participate, and you just maybe get angry about it. Like, you're right. Like, if you're not going to participate, just don't participate. But for him to come out and have this long spiel about it, exactly. Now it's like, all right, like,
you wanted the attention.
Yeah. I didn't really like it because in reality, like, I get not wanting to follow the trend of everybody else, but if you're gonna not follow that trend, then you should be posting something that is constructive, is something that is, you know, that's something, right? And I don't think he did that.
Yeah. Just respect.
Especially being from Boston. Especially from being from Boston.
But that's his fan base, so we know his fan base. So don't even. I mean, that's his fan base, and most of the people probably loved it. And you know, you see what channel he frequents the most. So he's on the other side.
One thing if he was like, you know, I'm not going to participate, but instead I'm going to post links to where you can go and support what's going on.
Exactly.
Instead, he took the stance of, I think we need to break up and get a funny video in every once in a while. It's like, dude, nobody wants to fucking watch a funny video today.
He's like, some people get their news from here and their pizza.
No one gives a shit what you scored the last pizza.
We posted. I mean, in reality, we didn't did it how everybody else did it. Everybody else posted black squares and nothing else. And we posted, stop killing black people. We posted a couple words that were in white letters as a video feed all day long. It wasn't just blackout. And I shared something else that day, but it was something that was for the movement and it was only an emoji. And I still felt like I needed to share something that was necessary, you know, and it wasn't something that was unnecessary. So the purpose of blackout, in my opinion, was to bring awareness. So I'm cool with somebody posting and bringing awareness, even if it's on that day, but it better be awareness. It better be something along those lines. But, you know, for you to not participate and then only make it about yourself, like you said, Mike, it's kind of weak.
Also know the facts. Like the first person that posted a blackout screen like that was LL Cool J. He ended his Instagram feed that night and he posted that. But he also knew the music industry wanted to do this to prove a point how much black music influences America. So they didn't want any of their content streamed for the day. They didn't want anything new or no new news. They wanted people out in the communities to not be on Instagram, to go and clean and go and help and go ask questions like, what could we do as a white privileged male or to make this better? You know, because as much as you want to say your life is hard or you had, you know, you grew up with holes in your shoes or your parents didn't have as much money, you grew up with two privileges. One is being a male, and that's all five of us, right? We all grew up being a male. So our life was instantly easier because we had a wiener. And two, because you're white, right? And I've witnessed this growing up legitimately doing the same thing that Carl, Mike, Jamal, and Ty, you could interchange us at any time. We're the same freaking people. The only difference was the way the world perceived us. And that's all I'll say about that. But I witnessed that and it made me mad enough to, you know, be the person I am today, but also voice my opinion whenever needed. So for Dave Portnoy, a boy from Boston who has used other people's content to get famous, who shares stuff without giving credit, who, you know, obviously will do whatever he wants to do, fire people for doing the same thing he does on a daily basis. But let's not get into that. Had a problem with the fact that we took away his Instagram for one day. So screw you, Dave.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, we can have a whole show about how, you know, like, and I know I said at the beginning of the show, anybody who did anything, if you simply just posted a black square and nothing else, then cool, right? Like it was about solidarity, you know, for the normal person. But like these companies, it was really just a day off. Like what else did you do? Like Mike said, for Barstool, how many black employees do you have? You know, I would love to see more, especially of the companies that can afford to do something other than give their employees the day off and say, hey, we're doing this for, you know, Black Lives, whatever. You know, what else did you do? You know, did you go out there instead of telling everybody to go home, we're not putting out content. Let's go out to these protests and talk to these people and maybe use it on our platform, use your platform a little bit more responsibly. You know, I don't believe like the rules of the Blackout Tuesday, you know, I wasn't going to say anything. Like, I wasn't even going to do it because I was like, I have to post. Like, that's the point. So I feel like people can observe any way they want to. To me, it's not really about the rules. It's how you're using it, how you're using that day to provide. And so, yeah, Dave, that guy's a clown. Like, nobody should ever take anything he says seriously. You know, he did that whole thing with Roger Goodell and winning the bid to go to the Super Bowl. Even though he's been shitting on Roger Goodell, he went there for content. He went there to clown him. And, you know, it's like that. And when we started this with Mike Missinelli, you know, he was trying to play devil's advocate with the Christian Cooper, Amy Cooper dog park situation, and trying to say basically that maybe she was scared. And the guy was like, there's no way to misinterpret that situation. But for some reason, Missinelli, he wouldn't let it go. And he was cursing her out. It was the one black producer.
Wait, did this happen before George Floyd?
Yeah.
Man.
And
like,
that was
crazy. And the fact that George Floyd happened is like, duh, wake the hell up, man. Like,
right. Maybe
now you see why we can't have cops coming for frivolous things, because we might die for no reason. Like, come on, man. Right. You should have never got a job back, especially after George Floyd got murdered. He should have never got his job back.
Just one more point, and we can move on about Blackout Tuesday. Like, it actually got my brain going, and I started brainstorming with Ty yesterday, and we started talking about things we could do and almost make, like, you know how like meat has a certification? Mm-hmm. Like, we are going to go into companies, big and small, and find how many minorities they actually have in their boardroom. Because the NFL tries to do this. Like, they admit they have a problem. At least they admit they have a problem, right? But how many companies do we support on a daily basis? Maybe even my favorite beer, right? Brooklyn Summer Ale. Maybe they don't have anybody of minority stature in their company. And we just talked about Barstool. They have nobody. Like, it's white Boston kids and KFC from New York. But, you know, we are going to start branding in some way or fashion. Like, hey, look, you know, you like Pepsi? Well, guess what? Coca-Cola has 60% more minorities that work for them. And by the way, their boardroom actually has minorities. You know what I mean? And we're going to force companies to fix this problem, because we can't employ them all, but we could stop people.
But that's so, Mike. Product. So that's really the bottom line, right? At the end of the day, it's already proven. And as much as I hate to admit this, you know, black people, we can't do this by ourselves. We tried. It's not working, right? We need the powerful white voices to help us, right? We need the Mike Powers. We need the Corys. We need the Berts. We need these guys who understand in what's happening to explain it. Because I can't explain it to a white guy who's already has a preconceived notion of what they perceive is going on. They need other white people to explain it to them, right? Like, that's just the way it works. And so you're right about that. But moving on, we'll get into that later. Moving on, if one thing came out of this is the unity of black people, but there's one black person that all black people hate, and his name is Jason Whitlock. And praise be the Lord, hallowed be thy name. Jason Whitlock is out at FS1. Celebrate, Ty. Celebrate, brother Tariq. Celebrate with us as we rejoice in this momentous occasion.
If everybody doesn't know, that's my middle name, by the way. So that's why I'm Brother Tariq. If y'all did, welcome here. I'm here in the flesh, Brother Tariq. Nice to meet you all. But I didn't even know that. Jason Whitlock, clearly, we all know what side he's on. But what did he say? What got him out officially?
Officially, his contract expired. For those who don't know who Jason Whitlock is, and I know a lot of you don't watch FS1 because it sucks, but Jason Whitlock is an opinionated gas bag on FS1 who has built his career off of cooning. I paused on purpose there. He irresponsibly has used his platform his entire career, even when he was in ESPN, to misrepresent and defame black athletes at every turn. Kobe,
always, over and over again,
every time, irrationally. So
just to get a pat on the back from the white man, just to get a pat on the back from Fox News or from some. That's the reason why. Like, and it's sad.
Can I ask?
And I don't trust. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
We were talking about this upstairs, Corey and I, and it was we were like, hey, I know all historically, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, like Jackie Robinson. You could go through, and I'm not talking about Jackie Robinson, the sport player. I'm talking about his political feats were actually pretty amazing. after he retired. So when this protest started, it was like there wasn't black voices that I was like, that's the person that needs to be spoken to. In my mind, it's Obama. In my mind, it's Oprah. Like, am I wrong by saying that? Is that like, you know, like, because like I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, he's too political or she's too political or something like that. Like there wasn't, you know, and Kamala Harris is another person that, in my mind, comes to mention, like, who are the people that we should be as white people looking for to, one, give us the direction and how we could help fix this.
That's tough. That's tough, man. I wonder that every day, like who are the leaders right now? And
Right.
that's kind of, you know, that's kind of why I take my stance of, you know, I do for myself. Like, I'm just focused on trying to do what I can do because I don't know who to trust. And you bring up Oprah's, like, man, the black delegation is out on her. We don't know what to think of Oprah. Like, she, you know,
Right.
she has all this, she has tons of power. Like, I felt like she maybe by her damn self could have helped us all. Like, by her damn self could have gave us reparations. Like, I don't know. Like, who you look at some of these people like that. Like, you're so powerful. There's no reason why you shouldn't be speaking out like all day long, man. Like, your platform is huge. Of your own damn TV channel.
Mhm.
I don't hear much from Oprah.
Oprah's with the white people. We got to teach Mike how this warm up quick hits thing works. Bert,
I'm sorry.
no, you're good, brother. I love the
Been
passion.
bottled up. And
Hey, Bert, I love you too, man. Hey, the NFL released a statement saying, hey, guys, we need to do something about this social injustice. Bert, kill Roger Goodell. Kill him. They're not allowed to have this opinion, are they?
I'm sorry. One more time. Rephrase that question.
NFL released a statement like everybody else saying, hey, guys, we got to do something about social injustice. This isn't right. Very hypocritical. NFL should not be allowed to be talking about this, correct?
No, 100%. Like how dare you? I mean, you silenced the one player that was speaking out against this years ago and basically shunned him out of a job because of this issue. So no, I don't think they have any stance on it whatsoever. I mean, great that they said something as opposed to maybe some NBA owners we know, but no, I don't think they have a dog in this fight.
Corey.
But Kaepernick is still unemployed. Still unemployed. All because he knelt, and Drew Brees apparently still freaks out about it. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
For kneeling, the same thing they're doing right now in the streets. That is a peaceful protest that everybody's okay with now, where people lost their shit because they played it during an outdated racist song. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And it's sad that there's been how many sacrifices since then, and I'll call them sacrifices before people wake the fuck up and realize it. Let's be real about this, you know? And then if you look towards the Kaepernicks, and like Mike said, you want to look towards the Oprahs, the Obamas, if that's something you want to look towards as someone that speaks for the movement and gives you good thoughts, but I don't even need to look that far. I don't. I look towards my friends who are all different races. They get upset about something, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be upset. So I don't, you know, it's not a matter of waiting for that one person. If somebody you know has a problem with something, anything, to generalize it, I know I'm generalizing it, but like, speak the fuck up. I'm done.
No, you're good, Corey. Ty, before you go, that's a very good point. All you oversensitive puss bags, when we say white people, we don't mean 100% of the white people out there. When we say cops, we are not talking about every single cop who puts on a uniform, okay? We're talking about you, the guy who's listening right now, who knows who you are. That's who we're talking about, the people that it affects. But it's so bad that we have to put this disclaimer like, oh, man, the cops are bad. Oh, well, you know, maybe not the cops in, like, Rancocas, but, you know, those, you know, it's like, dog, you know who we're talking about. We're talking about the bad cops. My bad. Go ahead, Ty.
No, you're good.
NFL, shit on them.
Yeah,
Shit on
NFL. Yeah, they literally silence protesters to silence to the extent of pushing them out of jobs, right? So they're the ultimate evil, and to try to speak up now is like, it's very hypocritical. But Mike said earlier in the group chat, is you got to walk a fine line. Like, we can be mad at people, but also like let's look towards the future. Maybe it's better. Like, all right, at least you're saying something now. Like, I don't want to, you know, at least you're saying something now. Maybe you can change. I don't want to keep you and allow you to be, you know, I'm not gonna keep you in that pigeonhole. I'll let you try to change. So, but yeah, both are true.
Yeah, we have to change the perception of the people above us. Like, and what I mean by age, I don't mean above us like by stature, and that too. But you know, you can't go back onto their Facebook or Twitter and then cancel them. Oh, you said something racist in 1985. Like, no, you all were racist in 1985, except for maybe Bernie Sanders. But you all were racist, and we need to get past that. So now it's, what have you done for me lately? Because I want you, they're impacting the youth. And if we call them out on it, maybe a little kid says, oh, well, I like that guy. So whatever, he said it, I'm going to say it. You know, you've seen that. Like, I don't believe that Mr. Floyd would have passed away. It didn't matter who was our president. This was going to happen in America, right? And so I don't blame Trump for his death. What I blame Trump for is the fact that there is a group that thinks that you are their leader. And the problem is they're extremists. They are anti black. They are anti, they're, you know, and then on the other side, there's another group that thinks that you're their leader. So whether or not you want to portray this, there's people that think that you're not their president and you're not on their side. And then there's the people in the middle that just want everything to be okay.
Can
right?
I ask a question? Just, has Kaepernick made a statement since all of this?
I'm sure he has.
I'm sure.
I know he has. I don't think he's spoken out against. I think he's letting, what he's been doing is the players in the NFL. And I was going to wait until everybody went because I do have some information. But the players in the NFL have.
I didn't.
No. Go ahead. No, it's cool, man. This is what, you know. This is like an extended warm up, like whatever, right? So players have been tweeting. Like, basically this is bullshit, and Cap has been retweeting. Cap honestly has been doing this the right thing. He's actually largely been ignoring it directly. He's raising money and paying for lawyers of the protesters in Minnesota that are getting arrested. The Vikings should just sign Kaepernick. Real shit. Like, not even just for what he's been doing for Minnesota, just, you know, Kirk Cousins, you know, you can't rely on him, so it'd be nice. But he's Kaepernick. I know Kaepernick's been largely silent this entire time. This is the best time for him to be silent because literally actions are doing all the talking for him. Go ahead, Ty. I don't want to mess up the flow.
Nah, I don't even know what the original topic was.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
NFL made a statement.
Just don't let me talk anymore.
Oh no, I already commented on that. I was like,
okay,
you know,
so everybody, okay, so basically, off that statement, Vikings linebackers Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr and head coach Anthony Lynn from the Chargers basically came out and said, fuck that statement. Anthony Lynn directly said, I'm pissed off. I don't want to just put out a pretty statement. The linebackers from the Vikings, Kendricks and Barr, said that they would rather have, they're going to Twitter or social media to say they want the fans to interact with us and give us some ideas on how the Vikings can support Minnesota over the past events. The statement doesn't mean anything. Like you said, the NFL, you look nuts right now putting out that statement actively, and you blackballed Kaepernick, and now you're putting out a statement like this. The next statement you put out better be an apology to Kaepernick. It better, like, I want Roger to get, matter of fact, I want Roger Goodell to be on live, like he was in his basement for the draft. If you can sit there in your basement and do the draft and fake it, you can fake a Kaepernick apology for the world to see, because he deserves one. And it's a shame. There's been NFL execs, ex-NFL execs that have come out anonymously and said, yeah, we blackballed Kaepernick. It's not fair. But
so yeah, he needs Brees. Brees needs to be there too. Brees and Goodell needs to come together and actually give away all our money to like somebody else.
So let's jump on Drew Brees. Drew Brees said, I'll never agree with anybody disrespecting our flag, blah, 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 blah. My grandfather did the shit. My dad did the shit. All right, good for you, Drew Brees. You're an idiot. You were my favorite quarterback up until about 3 hours ago when I read this. Or, you know.
Yeah, you were. For real, you were.
I was a hardcore Drew Brees fan. I was stationed in Louisiana. I met him at Barksdale Air Force Base at the air show. I mean, and I've said it on this show before, like, you want to have experience what it's like to be around Jesus Christ. Drew Brees is the closest thing, because when he was down there in Louisiana and all those, there was hundreds of thousands of people, and anywhere he walked, you could tell, because there was parting of the Red Sea, and people talked about Drew Brees and he has done a lot for the community, which is why I'm especially disappointed in those statements. How tone deaf, how clueless do you have to be after all this time? Colin Kaepernick has tirelessly explained it to all of you, and I'm talking to you, all of you, whoever this pertains to. It's not about the flag, you morons. All right? He's kneeling because he wants to honor the flag. He was sitting in the preseason before he got benched. So all you losers want to come out there and say he lost his job to Blaine Gabbert and so he wants attention. No, he was kneeling already, or he was sitting already. Newsflash. There's players that don't even come out of the locker room for the national anthem. What about them? Right. What about your fat Uncle Bob buying a hot dog? Guess what, American citizen? You're super American citizens right now. You must not know what the laws are, because as a citizen, anytime you hear the national anthem, you're supposed to observe the sound of it or the nearest flag near you. Mm-hmm. Nobody stands up at home on their couch when they hear the anthem and see the flag on their TV, like you're supposed to.
Same thing. Yeah.
So guess what? Right, yeah, thank you. Guess what? Shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. You are an idiot. I will say it. I don't care. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't watch the show. All right? We're not for you. Okay?
We're seeing that of your Barstool.
Yeah, Barstool. So now, and this is how serious it is, okay? And I know I'm taking up all of your guys' time, and I'll let you guys react, but I'm just going to get the information out of there.
You know what? Just go, finish it. We're all on the same page. Don't even go to us.
Okay, cool. So, Mike, and if anybody who doesn't think that this is a big deal, I've gotten people saying, oh, that was his opinion. Yeah, it's a bad opinion. It's not hitting the mark, right? And all you need to know is Alvin Kamara, his new wide receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, who just got there, Marshawn Lattimore, their star defensive back, and Michael Thomas, their star wide receiver, maybe the best receiver in the game, all have unfollowed Drew Brees on Twitter. All of them have unfollowed him on Twitter. He's getting killed. Malcolm Jenkins, I guess he's formerly of the Eagles. I don't remember if he's still on the Eagles or not.
I'm only laughing at the tie with this man.
And Ty, I'm gonna tag you in like 2 seconds. Drew Brees, it's like even back to when we were talking about Kaepernick and like how all this ties in. Man, Akeem Nicks from the Bears said Kaepernick lost his career for kneeling, so that stopped other black players from kneeling. It was so bad. His direct quote was, "Bro, we signed Mike Glennon. This doesn't make any sense." Like, shout out to Mike Glennon. He didn't deserve to get hit by that stray, but it proves the point. It proves the point, though. It does. So Drew Brees, to me, it's no self-awareness. It shows poor leadership, because you're in Louisiana, bro. You're in New Orleans, which is like 80% black. And it's not a good look for Drew Brees. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, I think you touched on it mostly in terms of the idiocracy of the social awareness of it. Like, it's silly because, yeah, man, like, first of all, we don't look at the American flag the same, for one, right? And America doesn't treat us the same, but let alone your spiel about how everybody else disrespects the flag all day long. It's crazy, hypocritical. I'm going to take it back to sports, though, because I'm just happy to see the discourse in the Saints locker room. Ooh, I love to see it. Yeah, Breeze. Yeah, Breeze. You're giving a win. We already got a win. We already have a win right there, because the locker room is not going to be the same. I wonder what's going to bring this locker room back. If you're going to put Winston as a starter, you're giving us the division. There you go. Put Winston in, man. That's what's going to happen. Probably they're probably going to revolt, and they're probably like, we want Winston, and I'm like, hell yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Breeze had an early retirement. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because
there's already a team meeting.
How do you play with all these players? This is a black league, man. You're silly.
There's already a team meeting. That's like, there hasn't even been training camp. You guys are already about to call a team meeting because of this. There has to be. It's nuts. So yeah, I mean, Drew Brees, it's not a good look, bro. It's not. And Ty even just said it. Like, it is a black league, and it's not even just about sports. It's about a lot of stuff, pop culture. Like, a lot of the stuff in the world comes from black culture, and for you to say something like that is wild to me. So quickly on a real sports topic that nobody in this particular room cares about, but it's basically another step. MLS has reached an agreement today to start soccer on time, no problem, no fans, nothing to really react to because none of us follow soccer, but it's just
I'll watch it.
I will watch it.
I won't.
I watched the National Rugby League today. I
Yeah,
watched rugby.
Rugby, you watch people get their heads taken off, man. Soccer.
But until the normal 4 come back, I got to be honest with you. I'll branch out and I'll watch something else competitive on my TV.
I'm not sitting down watching something end in a tie after 3 hours of my time. That's not
I'm with you, Bert. I'm watching it. I'll get into soccer.
It's hard, man. It's just too. I've tried. I'm gonna try again, I guess. I mean,
it live.
Yeah, yeah, it's different. It's a whole different story, especially if you're going to be. I don't know if I want to go live out here, like in Philly. I don't know how hype it is, but I would love to go over, obviously, to London somewhere, right? That'd be dope. But because the atmosphere is
so drunk at these things because it's such a boring game. They don't tailgate for soccer games. They go in the stadium and get drunk because it's so boring. That's all there is to do, people. It's not like football or baseball where you get to the parking lot early and drink. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think if you want to talk about sport that's been happening that we've been watching is UFC. Like, we should all be applauding UFC because that's been keeping me entertained. Not to mention, I'm angry. So, like, watching UFC is like, I don't have to go punch somebody. I just watch UFC and I just think about it. And I beat people up in my dreams, honestly.
Did you guys see the new European League? Did you guys see the new European Fight League? It's bare knuckle boxing in like an arena. It's like a bunch of people just thrown in there and they just fight. And then whoever's like the last man standing, it's nuts. I just seen it right before the show. I didn't get a lot of information. All I saw was a picture of it. It was dusty. It looked awesome. Something I would like to partake in one day. So shout out.
Fighters are like random people.
I think it's just random dudes. Like the dudes were wearing like Levi's and t-shirts. Like it was.
See, you know what's fucked up? They broke the first rule. You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club, and here these guys are televising that shit.
Yeah, no, they're desperate. It's desperate times, man. You know, human cockfighting is what we're resulting to because there's no sports. All right, so that wasn't the traditional warm up, but I'm cutting that topic so we can just jump into the sports topics, and we will talk about the return, guys. Well, the return of the NBA. All right, July 31st. The plans are set. It is in Disney Orlando. It's awesome. My question I'm going to ask, but I want you to answer after we talk about all the stuff so you can think about it. Every team is going to Orlando at the Disney resorts. Right. I want everybody, if you're an NBA team and to get home court, what is the resort you want to go to? That's the question. What's the best resort for you where you want your team? Answer that once we're done. Here is the breakdown of what's happening according to Woj. It is 22 teams, right? It's 13 Western Conference teams and it's 9 Eastern Conference teams. The way they broke that down is because there's going to be an 8-game basically season to determine the final 16 seedings, basically the 7th and 8th seeds, right? I guess all the teams are close enough within that 8-game range that, you know, they could potentially get in. So that's how they did that breakdown of 13 and 9. So they're reseeding these teams based on record and not conference, which I think is probably the best thing to do. Right. With the potential. The one thing I don't know is if every playoff game is going to be a best of 7 as tradition, because the season is supposed to run from July 31st to October 12th would be game 7 of the NBA Finals if it got to there. So I'm going to ask you guys, who is your favorite to come out of this this new format? Because now it's not like 2 West Coast teams could possibly get it done. So who do you guys see coming out on top? Bert?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I don't follow a lot of NBA, so I wouldn't even know. I think it's interesting that they're going by record instead of by conference. I mean, great for those teams, but I still would have thought they would have kept it within the two conferences and just took the best from there. But I mean, glad they're giving even the most competitive teams a shot. I wish I had more of an opinion on this, but I just don't follow basketball close enough. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good, man. It's cool. I think they're doing it this way to answer your question because I think Adam Silver has always wanted, because there's always the Eastern and Western Conference. It's never really a mixed bag. Like the West is usually dominant for a certain amount of years, and then the East is usually dominant for a certain amount of years. So I think he's just taking this opportunity to experiment with this format, maybe to go to it in a more permanent basis. Corey, you got any favorites?
I do. And listen, I think everybody, at least for this overall, needs to lower their expectations on what they're going to see. Your team is not going to perform like it normally would if this was a traditional situation, and the league might not function exactly how you want it to function. So the good news is at least basketball is coming back. So now that that's out of the way, the Lakers are winning the championship.
Ty.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to Lakers. Well, you know, it is what I have money. I have like legit stake in the game. So like, you know, I'm ride or die to the Lakers now for this. Well, I guess I'm not
pushed to try to get everything going sooner than later. LeBron is carrying everything. He will win.
And let me be clear. I'm a Sixers fan. I mean, I guess you can't see the stuff in the thing, but now that we're in the situation we're in, I can legitimately see the Sixers having a chance, depending on how the playoff format goes. If they do like a best of 5 or something, or like a best of 3 in the first couple rounds, that'd be lit. And like, or even one, right? Give me one game, give me a tournament, that'd be dope. But that probably will never happen. But now with everything happening, is like anything can happen. Like everybody's rusty, the teams aren't practicing together. Like who knows what's going to happen? So we have the talent to win. So there's no reason why we can't be in the mix of everything. If I had to bet though, and I have already betted for the Lakers to win a championship before this happened, I still, you know, if there were conferences, I still would have to pick them. I just have to bet on LeBron. I always do. And the team they have this year is nice, you know. So I bet on LeBron when he has at least a decent team.
Mike,
do the new rules allow me to have Zion?
So that's the interesting part about how they're doing this 22 team return, because Damian Lillard, the NBA crybaby, he cries about everything. Damian Lillard cries that he's not an all-star. Oh, I'm not an all-star. Oh, Russell Westbrook's always getting more votes than me. Oh, the Portland Trailblazers, we don't get enough media attention. Oh, I don't want to play basketball if the Blazers don't have a chance to win. All right, well, now you're in the playoffs, you crybaby. All right, all you do is cry. That's why nobody wants to go. You're stuck there with bum-ass CJ McCollum. That's why nobody wants to go to Portland, you bum. Shut up, Damian Lillard. Just shut the hell up. So what's interesting is you get teams like the Blazers and you get teams like New Orleans. With the NBA losing so much money, it actually is the smartest thing to do is try to get guys like Zion and Luka Doncic who wouldn't be making the playoffs normally. Now they're in this condensed all eyes on the NBA, and they're trying to get as many star players as they can into this new format. So yeah, like Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that would not normally have a chance in the playoffs, can win this play-in tournament, sneak into a 7th or 8th seed, and potentially win the NBA championship. And that would be amazing. I would love for a team that wouldn't have made the playoffs to win the NBA title. I'm not even going to lie to you.
But if it's 5 games, 7 game series, it's still going to come down. You're not going to be able to fluke your way in, man. Like, because that, I don't know. See, that's why it's tough to have that. It's not, you know, Cinderella teams, 1 game. It's like, man, it's 5. I mean, I wonder if it is going to be 5 game series, but I don't think they're going to do a 3 game series or obviously a 1 and done. I don't think they're going to do that.
Right. You could also get 2 West Coast teams now in the finals, right? And that's where the NBA would just be like, oh, this is freaking great, and go for broke. So you could have, I know, Kawhi versus LeBron. You could have, you know, situations like that where with the old setup you couldn't. So
That'd be the ideal situation, I think, for the NBA. They probably would want 2 LAs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God, for sure. The big question is all the precautions they're taking. It's going to be interesting how they're going to do it. If they're going to allow the players that aren't playing to watch the games, what's going to happen if somebody tests positive for coronavirus? Because I don't know if you guys know this. Coronavirus is still around. I mean, you wouldn't have known it if you've watched the news lately. It's like still a thing that's like, I don't know, it's killing people, I guess. So, you know, and that's why we're in this situation. I'm interested in all the stuff around it. We've seen UFC kind of sweep it under the rug, right? We had a UFC fighter test positive, and they just sent him home. They were like, all right, and then they just kept it going, business as usual. I wonder, like, what do you do? Do you expand your rosters and all that stuff? But yeah, I mean, the good news is the NBA is back July 31st. We'll see what it looks like. The most important question is, Bert, your NBA team, home court advantage. You get to pick your resort. Which one you going to stay at for the entire season?
Which Disney resort do I stay at for the entire season?
Yeah, you have to stay at one.
That's knowing your audience. Good job.
Man, seriously, this is a tough one. Look, I gotta go one of the originals. I'm gonna go Polynesian. Yeah, so you got those relaxed, fine vibes.
That's in Epcot, no?
No, that's the Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Bert will out Disney all of us. So that's knowing your crowd.
No, look, you got those relaxing Hawaiian vibes. You know,
Also, Bert did not get any of the show notes beforehand.
No.
So I did do some research. He did not. So for anybody who thinks like, oh man, this guy's like sitting there like he doesn't know what's next, that's exactly what's going on.
Oh, I thought. I mean, I'll be real with you. I thought Bert's been killing it. So fuck it.
Yeah, no, he has been, but you know, I'm just trying to make him feel better.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But now that, listen, we're talking Disney now, so we're good. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Favorite ride. I do think it's interesting though that they send a major league sports league to Orlando, one of the largest tourist destinations that are about to open their parks again for everybody all over the world.
Right.
Travel restrictions pending depending on what country you're coming from too, because you know these guys on their day off are going to be itching and want to go somewhere. I mean, hey, let's just go to a park and then boom, coronavirus. That's just me, but
I don't think.
Yeah, that is strange because they.
I don't. I'm sorry. I
guarantee
don't think any NBA players.
Some of these dudes are young enough where they're still kids and they're just like, let me just go on a ride or let me go to, let's get outside of Disney. Let's go to Universal. I can guarantee it.
I don't want to get off the sports topic, but dude, if you go to Disney and you don't have kids, that's just weird. It is.
It is a little strange. I ain't gonna lie.
I had this awesome audio clip of Drew Brees. You just lost your football team. Where are you going to go next?
Yeah, murderous Drew Brees loves Disney World.
Disney World.
That's it. Germ, I don't care what resort. I don't like Disney. Next question.
Wow. Whoa. We're not going to just glide past that. Hey. Listen, what trauma have you suffered in your life, my brother? Like, what happened here?
I'd rather spend my vacations elsewhere than a swimming pool that every kid in the world pees in, man. It's just
Corey doesn't have any kids, guys. That's all. Let's leave him alone. All right.
Corey just meant someone else peed in that pool before he did.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, basically. Ty.
I don't even know any Disney resorts, but I did hear about the cruise though, so I think that'd be dope. Like if they did the like a tournament on the cruise.
That's not a bad idea. You test everybody getting on, so no one has it, no one can spread it, and then you just play. Holy shit, you're a genius.
There was already mentioned though. It was like that was an idea already. They said,
yeah. They what's the one? What's the famous like giant cruise ship that they used to have all the commercials for?
Titanic.
The Titanic.
Not the Titanic. Oh my God. No, the new Carnival. Carnival Cruises was going to donate 2 of their cruise ships, one for the Western Conference and one for the Eastern Conference, so they could literally go out to sea and play their games and then dock and then switch for the playoffs. It was. I mean, there would have been a lot to it, but I think the players were like, well, we can't bring our families, so we're not going to be stuck on a ship with each other. So I think with Disney, they're allowed to bring their family. So, Mike, what resort you guys, your team's going to be staying in?
My favorite is Caribbean Beach. Like honestly, so that's.
Well, Mike, that's because you like Caribbean women. So wait, my bad.
Pause.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
thanks.
what?
No, what? No, don't pause. But thanks for my spot.
Oh,
but
sure.
yeah, that's it. No, like seriously, like I'm just happy we're getting basketball. They could play on the moon if they want to. We need sports in our life. Do we need sports or what? Sorry.
Oh yeah, guys, yeah.
Audio I had. But yeah, look, I do think that it's kind of cool. It's unique. Shout outs to Disney for doing this, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Or having
Making it happen.
that make magic happen.
Are you really shouting out? Yo, Disney owns ESPN. This was
it makes perfect sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like, and Disney doesn't need shout outs. It's like tipping. That's like tipping the owner of the barbershop if the owner's the one that cuts your hair. Like, you don't give the owner the
Disney
tip.
has
Like,
gone a long way. Like, they were pro-Nazi and now they're not. Sorry.
All right, Mike. Enough to this. All right, listen. I'm staying at Mike. Chill out. Hey, I'm staying at Animal Kingdom, bro. I'm trying to ride some elephants and shit. Like,
no, that's not fair. That's not fair. I would have. Yeah.
Literally asked the same question.
Yeah, you had a chance to pick it. Listen, Animal Kingdom is by far.
You're on a Caribbean beach, bro. What do you care? Who cares if
it's not real sand and it's like a lake, a man-made lake? It's horrible.
So yeah, we're all happy that NBA is returning. They have a pretty cool format. I think under the circumstances, it's best. MLS seemed to figure it out. NFL hasn't. NFL seems like they're going to start on time. I haven't seen anything. I mean, they've done virtually nothing. So I'm pretty sure they're all confident and they're all on the same page. NBA clearly on the same page. The one sports league that is not on the same page, and it's every day I come out and listen and hear all of this crap. And it's really stupid because the worst commissioner in sports, Rob Manfred, that doof, is not handling his business. Major League Baseball, once again, shut down a proposal to have a shortened season. And now I believe that there are talks to even doing a 50-game season. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'll take a 50-game season. I just get something done at this point for me. I got to be honest with you. I mean, look, I think they should somehow work things out to strike a deal to get things going, because guess what? If, players want to make money, so do owners, but you have to have a league in order to do that. So it's either keep bullshitting and don't get anything together and not have a league, or get something to the table, agree upon it, and let's go, because everybody else is going to beat them to the punch. So that's me.
I can see them not having a season. Like I can really see that. Is that getting to that point where I was like, oh, they might not really play. Like, why? Like, if you're gonna do 50, it might not really happen at all, man. Like, now you talk about 50, that's such a small number. I'm sorry, Mike, but I can see it at this point. Like, and I hope it doesn't happen, obviously, but I'm giving a bad feeling.
You're wrong.
No, listen, I'm with Ty here. And before Mike goes on his baseball tangent, I'm saying 50 games is nothing. And the problem is the players. All right. Let's all say it right now. Yes, ownership and players can't agree. Billionaires arguing with millionaires. But a deal would have been done a long time ago if players just said, okay, we'll take a percentage of our salary. So I don't blame the ownership. They're calling them on their bluff. And I think I would laugh if I was an owner to try to organize a 50-game season. I would just be like, all right, cancel the year. You won't get paid. And that's that.
Fun story. So they can cancel the year. The players already agreed to a prorated contract. The reason why the owner said, okay, 50 games at your prorated contract, because that's exactly the dollar amount they wanted to pay the players. The players already agreed to taking a prorated contract, meaning if half the season was gone, they would get half their pay. So if 50 games, which is a quarter of the season, and believe me, as a fan, like, that's nonsense. But if they say that's what they're playing, guess what? The players are contractually obligated to play those 50 games. So there will be baseball where just they went to and by the way, the owner said they will not give any other option other than this 50-game thing, but they will listen to players' options right now. So the players can tell them another alternative and they'll listen to it. But the owners are saying it's 50 games or you don't get paid. So if they want to get paid, they're going to play these 50 games, and that sucks. So there will be baseball because the contract that they agreed in March of a prorated contract. So in other words, per game they would get paid. So the owners are saying, okay, we'll pay you per game. There's 50 games left. We'll start August 1st. You know what I mean? So honestly, like, you know, that sucks for baseball because 50 games, if every season was 50 games, the Mets would have never won anything in their lives. So to be real with you, like, that is not enough for a sample size of a baseball season. But with that said too, I said this today, World Baseball Classic. It's a lot of fun. David Wright was nicknamed what?
Captain America.
Captain America.
Captain America. So they could do a tournament that way too, and whatever players want to play, like, pay them. But the problem is, if the owners get their 50-game season, we will be on strike in 2021.
Okay, so
because
sorry, go ahead, finish up.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so here's why I don't have a problem with a 50-game season. We've heard the side of you. We're like, well, it's not enough for the sample size of baseball. Guess what? We've been saying the baseball season, not we, but some people have been saying the baseball season has been long enough as it is. For me, a 50-game season is perfect. You treat every single game as though it is of the utmost importance to get yourself to the World Series. Every game matters. It's none of those like, oh, well, it's only March, or it's only April, it's only June, we still have time. No, when you get back to it, every fucking game matters. You go out there, you play your best, you make sure you're healthy, and you try to keep being healthy until you get to the World Series. So if anything, it's cause for more exciting baseball, my opinion.
Do you hold on? Can I just, I'm sorry. I don't, and Germ and Ty, I hate to keep interrupting so you don't get a turn to talk, but
No, go, bro.
The excuses of like, oh, it's only a game in March and it's only this. Those aren't the fucking people that are winning anyway. You think Jordan ever had a game and was like, well, this is just game 3 of the season, it doesn't matter? No, he played like every game mattered.
Well, in baseball, you also have to play like tomorrow matters also. So you got to kind of like understand.
Of course, but I'm just saying, as a competitor, that's how you should be looking at it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
But in terms of the playoffs, in terms of seedings and rankings, though, like now mathematically, literally every game matters. So like I do love that. And that's why football is the way it is, because it's 16 games. Like, 10-6 is, 10-6 is, and 9-7 are like, you could be in the playoffs or not in the playoffs, like just from one game. So you start having that, like with every game, you have that feeling in baseball. So Bert, that's a great point. And I've been saying the same thing. Like, I think most people do say that. I think that don't watch it. Like, man, 182 games, like Jesus. 50 though sounds like a little. I think maybe we can make it a little bit higher in terms of what the ideal number of games, regardless of pandemic, would be. But I think it would make for exciting season having a shortened season.
Well, the other thing too is like the owners know that 50 games would be appealing. So advertisement, they'll probably have every network television show. It would station saying, "Oh, we'll broadcast whatever you have," right? So because 50 games divided by how many teams there are, that's still a ton of games. But with the lack of, and they're also going to be competing against the NBA, the NHL, and that's not normal. August is going to be sports overload, and we're just going to go nuts. So baseball does need, like Ty said, to not get lost in the wayside of everybody else in playoffs, because we are the only sport that didn't start. The NFL will be the second sport that didn't start. The only problem is they're still 3 months away from that. So the NBA is trying to finish out their season. The NHL is trying to finish out their season. Baseball is trying to start a season. So right before they get a collective bargaining agreement, and also they have the Players Association is the strongest sports union out there. That's why these players are paid the way they are paid. So that's it.
So for me, and you brought up the point, because I'm always siding with the players, and I was fully prepared to come in here and side with the owners and say, fuck them players, call up Tim Tebow, call up all your farm system guys and tell them, fine, you just won't get paid because the Yankees were here before you, the Yankees are going to be here after you, and we can get anybody in pinstripes and people are going to watch it, and they understand the circumstances. The unique position right now is the collective bargaining agreement next year, right? So the players, and that's the other part that's getting lost here, is the revenue split, right? The players are paid on 100% of the games. That's how the revenue split works. But if you're only playing 80% of those games, your percentage is going lower. It doesn't. That's why I'm like, the players need to just shut the fuck up, because the less games you play, the less revenue you're going to get. Clearly, right? That's easy math. That's obvious math. And it's kind of like, honestly, both sides need to shut up, because this is about money. And you're arguing about this money, and none of you are struggling, right? Sorry, guy that makes $7 million a year, that you're going to have to make $5 million. Like, fuck off. Like, none of you are going broke, regardless of what happens. What's going to screw you is next year, you're talking about, because if you don't play any games this year, and I know Mike gave us the breakdown of why they would, but theoretically, if you don't play this year or whatever, something happens, because guess what? If the players don't want to play, they're just not going to play. They don't care about them damn 50 games, and then they're not going to play next year, right? And now you have 2 years of no baseball, and nobody's making money, and it's over. And so they just need, both sides need to just get it, like, I don't know. They need to figure it out, because it's really about money, and it's really petty. And yeah, that's all I got for baseball. I'm sure they'll figure it out. I'm sure games will be played, but that's it for baseball. And so yeah, that's it for me, guys. I really just wanted to close out. James Dolan, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not letting this show end without calling you an idiot. Nobody cares about your business practices and your bum ass statement. Like, I would hate to be a New York Knick right now. Like, if I was a New York Knick player, especially like Dennis Smith Jr., who's out there on the front lines, or a fan, honestly, the fans too. But if I'm out there on the front lines like Dennis Smith Jr., I would never report to the Knicks again. I would refuse to play for that owner until he sells the team. All the players need to get together and refuse to play. And so we're running up against the time. I just wanted to say one more thing about everything that's going on. In 1992, guys, the LA riots happened because 4 police officers were acquitted for beating up Rodney King. Okay? That's how long ago we've been dealing with this in our lifetime, and it's been going on a lot longer. The #1 movie in that time was Batman Returns, to put it into some perspective. Batman Returns, right? I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston was the #1 song. And Bill Clinton became president for the first time in his first term, right? In 1992. And we're still doing this today in 2020. So America, we need to get our shit together, because it's enough. It's enough. It's depressing. It's dividing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there is a lot of racists on my timeline that I had no idea were racist, and it's really sad to see. Hopefully sports will come back, so our and all this will, go away, so we can talk more about sports like we're supposed to, and not talk about the politics in sports. I want to talk. I can't wait for my Buffalo Bills to beat up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at some point. Can't wait for Tom Brady to tear his ACLs. And yeah, I'm sick of Tom Brady. But for everybody listening, take care of each other. I'm gonna let everybody say their goodbyes. So go ahead, Bert.
Yeah, look, thanks for having me. It's good to be back in the studio. Good to be talking to all of you. And look, spread love. Get through it.
Be good. Be safe. We'll see you guys on Friday.
I can't stand you guys.
I love you guys so much. I love you guys.
That's all I gotta say. I love you all. That's all. I love you all.
It took 10 years after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier for the Phillies to have their first black player. Not only did they boo the man, he ended up being traded the next year to Chicago, and he became the MVP of the league. Philadelphia, you need to get your shit together. You have been behind this. You need to get in front of it. And that's all I need to say. And I'm here, and I love you both. I love all 4 of you, and we'll get through this and hopefully make a better place for our kids.
Well said, Michael. Everybody listening, thank you for joining us for this show. Happy hour, Friday, 5 o'clock. Bring some beer. Do not bring wine if you're a man. Ty, leave that wine in the fridge, brother. Okay? Enough of this. I've let you get away with this. Happy hour will be happy. We're done. We wanted to do the depressing show today. Sharif Abdul Rahim. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf sat out the national anthem. He turned his back on the flag 20 years ago because he viewed the flag as a symbol of oppression and racism, and he was also blackballed from the NBA. But yeah, enough is enough. Everybody here, if you need to know how to act in the streets, just take a look at this show. We are a diverse group, and we all get along just fine, even though we all think and act and have different opinions, because there's compassion and respect between us. And you should have that for the people you come across in your daily lives. So until Friday and until next Tuesday, this was Stuff About Sports. Thank you for joining us.